A lot of you guys probably know Mario from his iconic classic, Super Mario Bros. And whilst he does a lot of saving Princess Peach, he has a lot of spare time, so he gets up to a lot of different things than you would expect. For instance, you can see him go-karting, having parties, and even competing in the Olympic Games. Oh, looking good, Bowser. Whilst all of these are nice, there's one of Mario's hobbies that I always enjoyed, and that was tennis. I mean, we've seen him do crazier things, so yeah, tennis is fine. So today, I thought that I would rank every single Mario tennis game from worst to best. In this list, I will only be including games that are completely focused on tennis. So I won't be including Mario Sports Mix, for example, because tennis is one of the side options. I want to only talk about games where tennis is the only thing you can do. So with no further ado, let's rank every Mario tennis game from worst to best. My least favourite Mario Tennis game has to be Mario's Tennis for the Virtual Boy. This is technically the first Mario Tennis game, and my god, what a horrible way to start off a game series. This might not directly be the game's fault, but it looks hideous. I don't know how anybody could play this game and look at the screen and not go blind. I know this is more to blame on the Virtual Boy than the game itself, but no. And the gameplay is just impossible to enjoy. But I'm not going to talk much about that because I feel like we've all suffered enough, and I feel like we all know why this is at the bottom of my list. Next up is Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. For a game that was made on the Wii U, a very powerful console, this game feels really bland. It just doesn't have that fun feel to it that most Mario Tennis games have. The only real gimmick in this game is the Mega Mushrooms, and it's just not really that interesting or fun. I feel like this game had so much potential because, like I've already said, it's quite a powerful console. They could have done a lot with it, but Nintendo made this game completely rushed and with minimum effort. Now we have Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color. I'm not really sure if I would call this game Mario Tennis because you can't even play as him and he's barely even in the game. I say this because this game is more of a story-based game. Actually, it's completely a story-based game. I haven't played the game, but from what I've seen, you go around playing against different characters. Most of them aren't even from the Mario franchise, and then the final boss is Mario. Look, I quite enjoy a story-based game myself, but why call it Mario Tennis if it's basically got nothing to do with Mario or any of the other Mario Tennis games? Now, I'm not saying it's a bad game, they just could have done things to make it a little bit better. But apart from that, the music's pretty good, and when you're actually playing tennis, the game seems to run pretty fast and smoothly, so I appreciate that at least. Next up is Mario Tennis Power Tour for the Game Boy Advanced. This game is very similar to the Mario Tennis game that we just talked about. Whilst I can definitely admit that this game is a lot better than Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color, there's a lot of problems with that game that have not been fixed in this very similar game. For instance, once again, it's barely revolved around any Mario characters, apart from the final part of the game. Funnily enough, most of the things that I liked about Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color, I also like about this game. But when it comes to things that this game improved on, the graphics are definitely the most obvious. But this game has a lot more gimmicks when you're playing tennis, which makes it a lot more fun. And also, in my opinion, the story is a lot better. But honestly, there's not much that I can touch on when it comes to this game because of how similar it was to the one on the Game Boy Color. So, on to the next one. And the next one is Mario Tennis Open for the 3DS. Unlike some of the previous games I've talked about, I actually had this one and enjoyed it quite a lot. I'm a little bit biased towards this game because of one, it's on the 3DS and that's one of my favourite things to play, and two, I have so many fond memories of playing this game online and against computer players. It's just quite a good time in general. First of all, the game looks really polished and is very smooth when you play, and even though some of the stages are simplistic, they still look pretty good. But when it comes to the game's uniqueness, that's kind of where it struggles. It's not as bland as Ultra Smash, but it's still a little bit dry for new gimmicks. It's got these different shots that you can use, but I don't think that that's enough. I'd say that it's a pretty above average game. It's definitely worth a play if you have a 3DS, I would definitely recommend it. In third place is Mario Tennis for the Nintendo 64. This game is a classic, and if we forget about Mario's Tennis, then this is the first proper Mario Tennis game. This game is quite well known for a lot of things, but one of the biggest things it's known for is introducing Waluigi to the universe. Thank you. Just thank you. That's right, this is the first time that Waluigi has ever been seen in any Mario game, and thank God that it happened. I need Waluigi in my life. But apart from that, the game is pretty good. Even though a lot of it is pretty standard tennis, it's still quite fun, and it's quite fast paced and has a lot of charm to it. And when it comes to graphics, this game is actually really nice to look at. I'm pretty impressed. Wait. Hold on. Is Mario the umpire? How did I not realise that? I've gained so much more respect for this game. Very cool. Anyway, I think that everyone agrees that this game is a whole load of fun to play single player or with your friends. In second place we have Mario Power Tennis. This game was originally for the GameCube, but it was also remade onto the Wii. So I'll just be putting them both into one because they're basically just the same game. One thing I will note about the remake is that using the motion controls in the Wii Remote, you can swing your Wii Remote in order to swing the tennis racket in the game, which is pretty cool, but overall it doesn't really change much about the game. I find this Mario Tennis game to be one of the better games just because of its innovation. Unlike some other games that we've talked about, this game is filled to the brim with smart ideas and brand new gimmicks for when you're playing. One of the highlights of this game definitely has to be all the different tennis courts you can play on, and they all have a different gimmick that you can use to throw your opponent off guard. For instance, there's a Donkey Kong themed one where you can hit those little lizard things. I never played Donkey Kong, so I don't know what they are, but you can hit them and then they bite onto your opponent, making it a lot harder for them to move around. It's things like that that really makes me appreciate this game more. So if you're feeling bored or want something fun to do, this is definitely the game for you. Now we're left with just one more Mario Tennis game, so let's see what it is, shall we? And my number one favourite Mario Tennis game is Mario Tennis Aces for the Nintendo Switch. This is one of the first games I got from the Nintendo Switch, and it kept me satisfied for a very long time before I got any new Nintendo Switch games. It's fun to play by yourself, it's fun to play online, it's fun to destroy your little brother on, don't ask. But the main thing I like about it is it has a story mode. Not only does it have a story mode, but it has a good story mode. You don't just go around playing normal matches of tennis against people, no. There's actually boss fights, there's actually different things to do, there's challenges, small mini games, things like that, and I am very happy about it. And it's also got special gimmicks for each of the tennis courts, so in a way, it's taking Mario Power Tennis and just giving it a massive upgrade. And whilst there's some questionable characters that you can play as, there's also a ton of them, and a lot of them are really fun, including my boy Kamek. It's about time that he got some love, seriously. Now I'm sure a lot of people would say that this is one of the better Mario Tennis games, but I don't think too many people would have it as their favourite. But for me, the story mode just completely separates it from the other games, making it stand out a lot more to me. And also, since it's one of the newer games, it looks very nice, it plays very well, and whilst online is laggy, you'll get used to it. And unfortunately, even though the game has stopped receiving updates, it's still very fun to play, and if you're lucky, you might get a few good online matches too. But that's it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed, and at this point, I'm just really looking forward to seeing what the next Mario Tennis game is, and what cool things it might bring to the series. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.